Hello everyone, my name is Silver and welcome. Today we're gonna take a look at something very exciting. DreamWorks released more information about How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, and we have actually gotten the very first poster for the movie, which reveals the existence of an albino Night Fury. Now there has been so much speculation on what this dragon was going to look like. There's been so much fan art, so many recolors, so many fan fictions, so many concepts of what this dragon was going to appear as. And it's finally been revealed to us what this dragon is exactly going to look like. And I don't think it's anything anyone could have expected. Because this Night Fury is very different from Toothless. Let's take a look at the poster here. It's a very impressive poster with all the colors and the overall setting indeed. So today we're going to talk about what we can see on this poster. We're going to talk about what it possibly means. And of course we're going to talk about the design of the Night Fury. And what the story is possibly going to be like. So let's just jump right into it and talk about the design of the albino Night Fury, which is probably the most interesting thing. So at first when I saw this I was really confused about it, because I do believe that she looks very young, and I say she because I'm pretty sure it's definitely certain to say that this is a female Night Fury. There's no doubt there, this is definitely going to be a female. Because in the second movie, Toothless' age was distinctive by the number of ear flaps or whiskers, or what you want to call them, that he had on his cheek and chin, and Volk had determined him to be around Hiccup's age.
He might very well be the last of his kind. Oh, and look! He's your age! Wow. Oh, no wonder you get along so well. Oh, yeah.
Now when we look at this White Night Fury, she only has 6 flaps, potentially 6. There's only 4 visible ones, but we can kind of imagine that she has the 2 ones on the back of her head, just like Toothless has. She might not though, and then she only has 4. We can't really know that, but between 4 and 6. So that's a very low number compared to Toothless, and this Night Fury would be a juvenile, really. It would be very young if we go by that same age identification as was used in the second movie. Then you could probably waste the question that is females' age determined differently from males. I still think it's a bit of a stretch, and I think it's a shame if DreamWorks has just forgotten what they have established with the age of Night Furies. And if this dragon indeed is very young, then it's kind of difficult for me to see if they're gonna have some sort of romantic relation, which they probably are, knowing DreamWorks and knowing what everybody's been expecting. I find that peculiar and a little bit strange, but I'm just gonna let that rest there until we have more information about this dragon. Her ears are also extremely short. This could also be a female identification, that difference from the male. So I'm not really gonna complain too much about that. She does look a little bit strange with the small ears. She looks a little bit like a cat, even more a cat than Toothless does. Also her head is a little bit shorter. It's bigger, it's more round and not as long. So again, she looks a lot more like a cat than Toothless does actually. Her eyes are blue, and really would have wanted to see some red eyes, because a lot of albinos are known to have red eyes. But I actually read up on the matter, and it turns out that most mammals with albinism actually has blue eyes, or really light eyes, really like white eyes, almost transparent in some cases, but mostly blue eyes. The same goes for birds in most cases. But then I looked into reptiles, and reptiles actually does happen to have red eyes or white eyes, really clear eyes, when they have albinism. So I would say that the choice of giving her blue eyes is partially accurate, because they are dragons, so we can't really determine exactly how their genetics would react compared to what we know in real life. But since she is a reptile, she should have had possibly very light eyes or red eyes, but I'm gonna let it slide since albinism is a very different. It's a difficult thing to determine exactly. So I'm okay with the blue eyes. I'm not as angry as I thought I was gonna be. I think it's alright. She looks extremely smooth compared to Toothless. Toothless has all these scales. He also has wear. We can see some scars on him, which I personally really like, because it shows a Night Fury that's had a pretty hard life, because he's been battling a lot alongside Hiccup and everyone else. He looks overall very rough, where she's really, really smooth. She doesn't even appear to have that many large scales. She seems to be almost sparkling a little bit with really, really tiny scales. Even on her feet, she doesn't have those huge scales as Toothless does. But this kind of makes sense if she lives underground, because the background and everything around them looks like it's taking place underground, and the hidden world is something that has been living beneath them somewhere. And since the sun hasn't been able to reach here, it couldn't have damaged her skin, so she would have very smooth skin with very limited cracks and very limited exposure to wear from the outside world or the world above. So actually I'm also willing to accept that. It's actually rather accurate if she does indeed live underground her entire life. And I'm also a little bit upset about the fact that she's white, because it just seems a little bit cliche. It seems a little bit too unlikely that of all the Night Furies that are still alive, they find one white one. I understand it's probably to make it more like, oh my god, it's a white Night Fury and it's alive, and oh my god, and to make it stand out compared to Toothless. But still, I think that's very lucky. That's the odds of that are extremely tiny. Unless, however, all of the dragons that live underground here have evolved to have this really light skin, this really pale white skin, that they all have the same albinism mutation. Because we see dragons in the background, and from what I can tell, none of them are Night Furies. They are Monsters Nightmare, and I think I see a Sibylbag and a few others that we might recognize. So if all of these are white as well, and this is just an entire world of dragons that has adapted to have very pale colors, then I would let it. Then I'll be more acceptable towards it. It's not a deal breaker. I think it's all right. I mean, they want to make it dramatic, and a lot of people have been wanting it, so I understand why they decided to do it. I'm not too friendly with the design. She looks very, very like a sausage, really. She doesn't have much of any edges, really, and compared to Toothless, who has all these details and everything, she actually looks very cartoony. She looks like she's a lower rendering than Toothless is. I'm sure that's gonna change in the actual movie, but just from this picture she looks a lot more unrealistic, where Toothless actually has some realistic aspects to him. So I think that's a shame, but I mean, I think she looks alright. I don't think it's anything to be upset about, because she's alright, and I think that when we get the trailer out, we're gonna know more about her, and we're gonna see her from different angles possibly, and we'll kind of discover what everything is about. So let's take a look at the environment real quick. We have some crystals and some coral looking things, which makes this area appear like it's underground, in some sort of underwater cave. However, in the background we see dragons flying, so I doubt that this is the case. It could be that these plants have just evolved to look like coral underground, and this is not underwater. It couldn't be underwater possibly, because all these characters are standing like they would be standing on ground and not water. So I think these plants are just adapted to become different because they live underground. I'm a little bit worried about the overall idea for this movie, because to me it kind of seems similar to Ice Age. Ice Age 3, The Dawn of the Dinosaurs, if any of you remember that one. It was like they lived up underground, and there was this entire hidden world beneath them, and they fall down to discover it, this entire ecosystem. And it seems very similar to that, which I think is a shame if that's what it's gonna be, because it's seen before, and How to Train Your Dragon is known to be something really unique and special. So I really hope they do something with it that isn't seen before. Another thing to notice is that Toothless is not wearing his saddle at this picture. He's not wearing any gear at all, and Hiccup is placed kind of in the background, away from these two Night Furies, which could indicate that some bond is gonna be broken off here. So Tulthus is able to go and live with this female Night Fury. Because the overall setting definitely focuses on these two dragons, which also is concerning to me, because How to Train Your Dragon was special because of the bond between Tulthus and Hiccup. That was what the movie was about. That's what How to Train Your Dragon is about. It's about Tulthus and Hiccup and how they interact together and how their bond grows. But in this movie, it seems like they're gonna focus on the White Night Fury and Tulthus. And I'm partially okay with that, because we gotta, you know, keep it new and keep it fresh. But I also just think it's a dangerous thing, because it's what made How to Train Your Dragon special. It was between these two and their relationship and how they evolved together. So if they take that away and just put this new Night Fury in to kind of take the spotlight, I am kind of concerned that it's gonna be very different compared to what we know and love. And change is not necessarily bad, but it's bad if it destroys what is unique and great about How to Train Your Dragon, really. I'm as excited as everyone to see a White Night Fury. I think it's really cool, but just the setting of this poster is worrying to me, because it does make Hiccup appear as a third wheel, as a secondary character that is not as important. So yeah, it does raise some concern. But I'll stop talking now. I am excited about the trailer. I'm really excited about it coming out, and we'll have more information on it once it hits. So stay alert in next week. It should come out somewhere around there. And I will be covering it on this channel, so subscribe if you're interested in more How to Train Your Dragon 3 news and anything related to dragons, really. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Let me know down in the comment section what you think about this poster. What are your ideas? What are your theories for How to Train Your Dragon 3? I will love to hear it. And have a great time. So long, Dragon Riders!